Renew yourself. You've got to take time for yourself to renew and to relax. If you don't, you'll get burnt out and lose your zest for life. It seems like half the planet has seen the movie Avatar, the highest grossing film of all time. Why was it so successful? Besides groundbreaking special effects and great filmmaking, I believe the story hits home because we all need to practice what it's preaching. The story takes place in the year 2154 on Pandora, a forested moon in the Alpha Centauri star system, and revolves around the character of Jake Sully, a former Marine, now paralyzed, confined to a wheelchair, trapped and unfulfilled. Being able to mentally live through his avatar, a 10-foot-tall replica of the planet's blue natives, he at first feels alive because he can run and enjoy a working body, even if only in his mind. But it quickly becomes much more than that. Meeting the natives, Jake falls in love with Neytiri, a female Na'vi native. The more time he spends with Neytiri and her people, the more he comes to see the beauty and peace and power of the world. A world Jake's loud, natural, resource-thirsty humans have come to pillage and plunder. The message for us here is about rejuvenation, about unplugging, about taking time to listen to the natural world around us. It's about putting yourself in a self-imposed timeout once in a while. Now, you don't have to become a 10-foot-tall semi-human blue dude in order to find peace, but like Jake Sully, finding your own place to escape to, your own sanctuary of some kind, is essential. Go to the wind or birds, or maybe even the beating of your own heart. If you don't have access to a big, cool, glowing tree of souls like Jake, maybe you can find a rooftop, a park bench, some piece of grass somewhere, just a place to be alone. Now, all this might sound a bit hokey, but trust me, humans today live in a constant storm of stuff, and we all just need to take a deep breath and unplug occasionally, just to renew our spirits. Theodore from Canada had his hideout. Whenever I'd get too stressed out, or when I wasn't getting along with my parents, I'd just go into the basement. There I had a hockey stick, a ball, and a bare concrete wall on which I could take out my frustrations. I'd just shoot the ball for a half an hour and go back upstairs refreshed. It did wonders for my hockey game, but it was even better for my family relationships. Ariane told me about his refuge. Whenever he got too stressed out, he would slip into his high school's large auditorium through the back door. All alone in the quiet, dark, and spacious auditorium, he could get away from all the hustle and bustle and have a good cry or just relax. Allison found a garden all her own. My dad died in an industrial accident at work when I was little. I really don't know the details because I've always been afraid to ask my mother very many questions about it. Maybe it's because I've created this perfect picture of him in my mind that I don't want to change. To me, he's this perfect human being who would protect me if he were here. He's with me all the time in my thoughts, and I imagine how he would act and help me if he was here. When I really need him, I go to the top of the slide at the local grade school playground. I have this silly feeling that if I can go to the highest place, I will be able to feel him. So I climb up to the top of the slide and just lie there. I talk to him in my thoughts, and I can feel him talking to my mind. I want him to touch me, but of course I know he cannot. I go there every time something really is bothering me, and I just share my burdens with him. Besides finding a place of refuge, there are so many other ways to renew yourself and build your PBA. Exercise can do it, like going for a walk, running, dancing, or kickboxing. Some teens have suggested watching old movies, talking to friends who crack you up, or recording music and making videos on your computer. Others have found that writing in their journals helps them cope. Habit 7, Sharpen the Saw, is all about taking time to renew your body, heart, mind, and soul. We'll talk more about it when we get there, so hold your horses. Magnify your talents. Finding and then developing a talent, hobby, or passion can be one of the single greatest deposits you can make into your PBA. Why is it that when we think of talents, we think in terms of the traditional high-profile talents such as athlete, dancer, or award-winning scholar? The truth is, talents come in a variety of packages. Don't think small. You may have a knack for reading, writing, or speaking. You may have a gift for rhythm, being hilarious, remembering details, or accepting others. You may have organizational, musical, or leadership skills. It doesn't matter where your talents may lie, whether it's chess, drama, or skateboarding. When you do something you like doing and having a talent for, it's exhilarating. It's a form of self-expression, and as this girl attests, it builds esteem. You might die laughing when I tell you that I have a real talent and love for weeds. I'm not talking about the kind you smoke, but weeds and flowers that grow everywhere. I realized that I always notice them, while others just want to cut them down. So I started picking them and pressing them, and eventually making beautiful pictures and postcards and art projects with them. I have been able to cheer many a sad soul with one of these personalized cards. I'm often asked to do arrangements of flowers for others and to share my knowledge of preserving pressed plants. It's given me so much joy and confidence, and just knowing I have the special gift and appreciation for something most people ignore. But it goes beyond that. It's taught me that there's so much to just simple weeds. How much more is there to almost everything else in life? It's made me look deeper. It's made me an explorer. My brother-in-law Bryce told me how developing a talent helped build his self-confidence and find a career in which he could make a difference. His story is set in the Teton Mountain Range that stretches high above the plains of Idaho and Wyoming. The Grand Teton, the tallest of the Teton Peaks, juts 13,776 feet above sea level. As a young boy, Bryce had the picture-perfect baseball swing until his tragic accident. While playing with a BB gun one day, Bryce accidentally shot himself in the eye. Fearing that surgery might permanently impair his vision, the doctors left the BB in his eye. Months later, when Bryce returned to baseball, he began striking out each time at the bat. He had lost his depth perception and much of his vision in one eye, and could no longer judge the ball. Said Bryce, "I was an all-star player the year before, and now I couldn't hit the ball. I was convinced that I would never be able to do anything again. It was a big blow to my confidence." Bryce's two older brothers were good at so many things, and he wondered what he could do now, given his new handicap. Since he lived near the Tetons, he decided to give climbing a try. So he dropped by the local army store and bought nylon rope, carabiners, chalk, pitons, and other climbing necessities. He checked out climbing books and studied how to tie knots, hook up a harness, and rappel. His first real climbing experience was rappelling off his friend's chimney. Soon he began climbing some of the smaller peaks surrounding the Grand Teton. Bryce soon realized that he had a knack for it. Unlike many of his climbing partners, his body was strong and lightweight and seemed to be perfectly built for rock climbing. After training for several months, Bryce finally climbed the Grand Teton all by himself. It took him 2 days. Reaching this goal gave him a massive confidence boost. He'd drive to the Tetons, run up to the base of the climb, do the climb, and run back down. Bryce got faster and stronger every time. Bryce's friend Kim noticed how seriously he took climbing and told him, "Hey, you ought to go after the record on the Grand Teton." Kim told Bryce all about it. A climbing ranger named Jock Glidden had set a record on the Grand by running to the top and back in 4 hours and 11 minutes. That's absolutely impossible, thought Bryce. I'd like to meet this guy someday. But as Bryce continued to do these types of runs, his times became faster, and Kim kept saying, "You've got to go after the record. I know you can do it." On one occasion, Bryce finally met Jock, the superhuman with the insurmountable record. Bryce and Kim were sitting in Jock's tent when Kim, a well-known climber himself, said to Jock, "This guy here is thinking about going after your record." Jock gazed at Bryce's 125-pound frame and laughed aloud as if to say, "Get a clue, you little runt." Bryce felt devastated but quickly gathered himself, and Kim kept affirming him. "You can do it. I know you can do it." Early one morning, carrying a small orange backpack and a light jacket, Bryce ran to the top of the Grand and back in 3 hours, 47 minutes, and 4 seconds. He stopped only twice, once to take rocks out of his shoe and once to sign the register at the summit to prove he had been there. He felt utterly amazing. He'd not only broken the record, he'd shattered it. A few years later, Bryce received a surprise call from Kim. "Bryce, have you heard? Your record has just been broken." "Of course," he added. "You need to get it back. I know you can do it." A man named Crichton King, who had recently won the heralded Pikes Peak Marathon in Colorado, dashed to the top and back in 3 hours, 30 minutes, and 9 seconds. 2 years after his last assault on the mountain, and 10 days after his record had been broken, Bryce stood in the Lupin Meadows parking lot at the base of the Grand Teton in brand new running shoes, ready and eager to break King's record. With him were friends, family, Kim, and a crew from the local television station to film his run. As before, he knew the hardest part of the climb would be the mental aspect. He obviously did not want to become one of the 2 or 3 who die each year while attempting to scale the Grand. Sports writer Russell Weeks described running the Grand as follows. From the parking lot, you face a run of about 9 or 10 miles, up switchback trails, through a canyon, up 2 glacial moraines, 2 saddles, a gap between 2 peaks, and a 700-foot climb up the west wall of the Grand to the top. The rise and fall in altitude from Lupin Meadows to the top and back is about 15,000 feet. Lee Ortenberger's Climber's Guide to the Teton Range lists the last 700 feet alone as a 3-hour climb. Bryce took off running. As he ascended up the mountain, his heart pounded and his legs burned. Concentration was intense. Scaling the last 700 feet in 12 minutes, he reached the summit in 1 hour and 53 minutes and placed his verification card under a rock. He knew that if he were to break King's record, he would have to do it coming down. The descent became so steep at times that he was taking 10 to 15 foot strides. He passed some friends who later told him his face had turned purple from oxygen depletion. Another climbing party apparently knew he was going for the record because as he passed, they yelled, "Go, go!" Amid cheers, Bryce returned to Lupin Meadows with bleeding knees, thrashed tennis shoes, and one horrific headache. 3 hours, 6 minutes, and 25 seconds after he had left, he had done the impossible. Word spread fast, and Bryce became known as the fastest climber in the West. "It gave me an identity," said Bryce. "Everyone wants to be known for something, and so did I. My ability to climb gave me something to work for and was a great source of self-esteem. It was my way of expressing myself." Today, Bryce is founder and president of a very successful company that makes high-performance backpacks for climbers and mountain runners. Most important, Bryce has found a way to make a living doing what he loves to do. It's what he's good at, and he's used his talents to bless his life and the lives of many others. Oh, by the way, the record still stands. Now don't get any wild ideas, and Bryce still has that BB in his eye. So, my friends, if you need a shot of confidence, start making some deposits into your PBA starting today. You'll feel the results instantly. And remember, you don't have to climb a mountain to make a deposit. There are, a billion and one safer ways. Coming attractions. Up ahead, we'll talk about the many ways in which you and your dog are different. Read on and you'll see what I mean.